Question number 1. Which type of Service Organization Control (SOC) report is intended for general use? Letter A, SOC 3. Letter B, SOC 1. Letter C, SOC 2. Letter D, SOC 4. Correct answer is letter A. Explanation. Letter A is correct because SOC 3 reports are specifically designed to be freely distributed, unlike SOC 1 and SOC 2 reports, which are restricted to specified users such as the service organization, user entities, and their auditors. SOC 4 isn't a recognized report type at all. Question number 2. Computer Services Company, CSC, processes payroll transactions for schools. Drake, CPA, is engaged to report on CSC's policies and procedures implemented as of a specific date. These policies and procedures are relevant to the school's internal control, so Drake's report will help the school's independent auditors plan their audits. What should Drake's report, expressing an opinion on CSC's policies and procedures as of that date, contain? Letter A. A statement that CSC's management has disclosed to Drake all design deficiencies of which it is aware. Letter B. An opinion on the operating effectiveness of CSC's policies and procedures. Letter C. A paragraph indicating the basis for Drake's assessment of control risk. Letter D. A description of the scope and nature of Drake's procedures. Correct answer is letter D. Explanation. Letter D is correct because this is a report on controls as of a specific date, a Type 1 style engagement, so it describes the scope and nature of the procedures performed rather than opining on operating effectiveness, which requires testing over a period of time. It also doesn't disclose a control risk assessment, since that's the user auditor's own job, not the service auditor's. Question number 3. The internal control provisions of the Sarbanes-Oxley Act of 2002 apply to which companies in the United States? Letter A. All companies. Letter B. All issuer, public, companies and non-issuer, non-public, companies with more than $100 million of net worth. Letter C. SEC registrants. Letter D. All non-issuer companies. Correct answer is letter C. Explanation. Letter C is correct because the internal control provisions, particularly Section 404, are specifically tied to companies registered with the SEC, not to companies generally. Net worth thresholds and non-issuer status don't factor into whether these provisions apply. Question number 4. Which of the following is correct about Service Organization Control (SOC) reports referred to as SOC 2 inches reports? Letter A. They are primarily meant to assist financial statement auditors when processing has been outsourced to a service provider. Letter B. They are meant for management of service organizations, user entities, and certain other specified parties. Letter C. They are generally available to anyone. Letter D. They relate most directly to internal control over financial reporting. Correct answer is letter B. Explanation. Letter B is correct because SOC 2 reports are restricted use reports built around trust services criteria like security and privacy, intended for a defined audience of the service organization's management, user entities, and other specified parties, not for the general public. Assisting financial statement auditors with outsourced processing and relating to internal control over financial reporting both describe SOC 1 reports instead. Question number 5. Which of the following best describes a CPA's engagement to report on an entity's internal control over financial reporting? Letter A. An audit engagement to provide negative assurance on the entity's internal control. Letter B. A prospective engagement to project, for a period not to exceed 1 year, the expected benefits of the entity's internal control. Letter C. A consulting engagement to provide constructive advice to the entity on its internal control. Letter D. An engagement to form an opinion on the effectiveness of its internal control. Correct answer is letter D. Explanation. Letter D is correct because this kind of engagement is built around forming and expressing a genuine opinion on whether internal control is actually effective, providing positive assurance, not negative assurance, a forward-looking projection, or informal consulting advice. Question number 6. Payroll Data Company, PDC, processes payroll transactions for a retailer. Cook, CPA, is engaged to express an opinion on a description of PDC's internal controls implemented as of a specific date. These controls are relevant to the retailer's internal control, so Cook's report may be useful in helping the retailer's independent auditor plan a financial statement audit. What should Cook's report do? Letter A. Contain a disclaimer of opinion on the operating effectiveness of PDC's controls. Letter B. Identify PDC's controls relevant to specific financial statement assertions. Letter C. State whether PDC's controls were suitably designed to achieve the retailer's objectives. Letter D. Disclose Cook's assessed level of control risk for PDC. Correct answer is letter B. Explanation. Letter B is correct because Cook's report needs to tie PDC's controls back to the specific financial statement assertions they affect, which is exactly what the retailer's own auditor needs to plan their audit. The report isn't framed around the retailer's particular objectives, and it doesn't disclose any control risk assessment, since that assessment belongs to the retailer's auditor, not to Cook. Question number 7. The AICPA outlines auditor reports based on 3 services that may be provided on Service Organization Controls, SOC. Which type is most likely to result in a restricted use report on controls at a service organization related to security, availability, processing integrity, confidentiality, and/or privacy? Letter A. SOC 6. Letter B. SOC 6. Letter C. SOC 2. Letter D. SOC OC. Correct answer is letter C. Explanation. Letter C is correct because SOC 2 reports are specifically built around those 5 trust services categories: security, availability, processing integrity, confidentiality, and privacy, and they're restricted to specified users rather than being generally available. The other 3 answer choices aren't real SOC report designations at all. Question number 8. An engagement to examine an entity's internal control will generally: Letter A. Be more extensive in scope than the assessment of control risk made during a financial statement audit. Letter B. Require procedures that duplicate those already applied in assessing control risk during a financial statement audit. Letter C. Increase the reliability of the financial statements that have already been audited. Letter D. Be more limited in scope than the assessment of control risk made during a financial statement audit. Correct answer is letter A. Explanation. Letter A is correct because forming an opinion on internal control itself requires much broader, deeper procedures than simply assessing control risk as one step within a financial statement audit. It's a distinct, more extensive engagement, not a duplication of prior work, and it doesn't retroactively change the reliability of statements already audited. Question number 9. Lake, CPA, is auditing the financial statements of Gill Company, which uses EDP Service Center, Inc. to process its payroll transactions. EDP's own financial statements are audited by COPE, CPA, who recently issued a report on EDP's internal control. Lake is considering COPE's report in assessing control risk on the Gill engagement. What is Lake's responsibility regarding referencing COPE as a basis, in part, for Lake's own opinion? Letter A. Lake may refer to COPE only if Lake is satisfied as to COPE's professional reputation and independence. Letter B. Lake may not refer to COPE under the circumstances described. Letter C. Lake may refer to COPE only if Lake relies on COPE's report to restrict the extent of substantive tests. Letter D. Lake may refer to COPE only if Lake's report indicates the division of responsibility. Correct answer is letter B. Explanation. Letter B is correct because, unlike referencing a component auditor in a group audit, a user auditor like Lake does not reference a service auditor's report on the service organization's internal control within their own opinion. Lake may still use COPE's report internally to help assess control risk, just without naming or citing it in Lake's own report to Gill's financial statement users. Question number 10. Which framework is most likely to be used by management in its internal control assessment under the requirements of the Sarbanes-Oxley Act of 2002? Letter A. The COSO Enterprise Risk Management Framework. Letter B. The FASB 37 Internal Control Definitional Framework. Letter C. The AI CPA Internal Control Analysis Manager. Letter D. The COSO Internal Control Framework. Correct answer is letter D. Explanation. Letter D is correct because the COSO Internal Control Framework, not the broader Enterprise Risk Management Framework, is the one specifically designed for and commonly used in management's internal control assessments under Sarbanes-Oxley. The other two options aren't actual recognized internal control frameworks at all.